So let's talk about how the criminal justice system is handling the cases of the insurrectionists. Specifically, let's talk about insurrectionists vacationing in Mexico and enjoying organic cuisine in the lockup. And then let's try to answer the question, is that equal justice? Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So yesterday I did a video about insurrectionist Jenny Cudd and the judge who sent her off on a pretrial trip to Mexico while she's pending trial for committing multiple crimes. And if you could sum them all up, it's basically for trying to violently overthrow the government. So lots of questions have come in as a result of yesterday's video, and I'd like to try to answer some of them in today's video. First of all, the judge, Trevor McFadden, I touched on him yesterday. Well, Trevor McFadden is a Donald Trump donor and was on Trump's transition team. In fact, one of the litigants in one of the cases he was handling that sort of involved Trump asked that he remove himself, recuse himself, step away from the case because he had a possible conflict. McFadden refused. So much for complete judicial independence. And what has McFadden's track record been in the relatively short time he's been a Trump judge? Not good. You know, there's a case where he ruled for the Trump administration on the issue of Donald Trump's scheme to divert money away from the military budget to build his vanity wall. McFadden ruled in favor of the Trump administration on a standing issue, and that went up to the appellate court, and the D.C. Federal Circuit Court of Appeals overturned it because he was wrong. He also presided over some of the litigation over the release of Donald Trump's tax returns. Specifically, remember when the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee demanded Donald Trump's tax returns in accordance with the law? McFadden presided, and he allowed delay after delay after delay, which essentially inured to Donald Trump's benefit because he ended up running out the clock on his presidency. And now McFadden sends insurrectionist Jenny Cudd off to Mexico while she's pending trial for trying to overthrow the government violently. So I would say Trevor McFadden's record is concerning. So the second question I want to try to tackle is, why didn't the Department of Justice oppose Jenny's request for a little R&R in Mexico? Because the reporting is that the Department of Justice did not oppose the request. Well, I don't know what the internal DOJ deliberations involve, but here's my concern. The D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office is still being headed up by a Bill Barr Donald Trump lackey named Michael Sherwin, who's heading up the insurrection investigation, so is in this decision-making chain on motions filed by Jenny Cudd and other insurrectionists. Michael Sherwin is the guy who worked night and day to dismiss Mike Flynn's case, to do a favor though, for Donald Trump. He also headed up the office where criminal referrals were sent of Don Jr. and Jared Kushner and others, criminal referrals made by the Senate Intelligence Committee, a bipartisan committee, referred them for criminal investigation. And as far as we know, that is where those referrals of Don Jr. and Jared Kushner went to die. So my question is, why is Michael Sherwin still acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, because, folks, there are 94 U.S. attorneys, and every last one of them is in what's called an at-will appointment. You serve at the will of the president, and the president can, and generally the president does, ask all U.S. attorneys to resign when a new administration comes in, so they can then begin placing their own U.S. attorneys with their own law enforcement priorities. I don't know for the life of me why, and I'm not second guessing the Biden-Harris administration. They've been doing great work and they have their hands full trying to figure out what Donald Trump did on the inside of the federal government and fix it. But I don't know why Michael Sherwin, a Bill Barr Donald Trump acolyte, is still in that position heading up the insurrection investigation. Let's hope that ends soon. And then a couple other things before I move on to a third and final question that you all have asked. There are a couple other reasons that the Department of Justice might not have asked for Jenny Cudd to remain in the United States pending trial. One, maybe she's a cooperating witness. Maybe she has given the prosecutors so much great information, useful information, incriminating information about other insurrectionists that we're going to consider letting her plead to a reduced charge, enter a cooperation agreement, and be in a position to testify at the trial of other insurrectionists. That could be. There may be other reasons, but at the end of the day, when I look at somebody like Jenny Cudd and I listen to her statements where she said she participated in a violent break-in at the U.S. Capitol, including breaking down Nancy Pelosi's door. She said she was, quote, effing proud of it. And upon reflection 2 days later, with a cool head, talking to a news organization in Texas, she said, and I quote, absolutely, I would do it again. We confine people, we detain people pending trial because they're a flight risk or a danger to the community. And when she says, I did it and I absolutely would do it again, how is that not a danger to the community? Let me take on a third question, because a lot of people have asked about this particular insurrectionist, because his attorney filed a motion demanding organic cuisine in the lockup, and that motion was granted. Now, folks, I was a prosecutor for 30 years. I've never seen such a thing. I do recognize that there are dietary accommodations made for religious reasons, and we would never oppose that. We fully support that. But organic cuisine in the joint, in the big house, in the hooskow, pick the slang term of your preference, that's something I've never seen. And frankly, I was stunned when those accommodations were made. But here's what I would urge, folks. Every last defense attorney who is representing a client that's being detained pending trial, file your motion demanding organic cuisine, and it better be granted by the court. It should be granted by the court if we really care about equal justice for all. And we do, because justice matters. And as always, folks, thank you for tuning into these daily videos. If you would like to more formally support our all-volunteer efforts or content, you can go over to patreon.com, sign up to become a Team Justice member, and if you do, I'll send you some Team Justice stickers and a personal handwritten note of thanks. You can find me over on Facebook, Justice Matters with Glenn Kirshner, and of course on Twitter, trying to answer your legal questions as best I can. On Twitter, it's at Glenn Kirshner 2. So folks, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.